Ramblin Man here. So I wanted to just touch on some things. We had this long weekend, as President Biden would say, 4th of July weekend, where a lot of different things happened. So I want to just kind of do a little catch up here, and also just kind of talk about moving forward. So I noticed that, during all these the weekend and everything, the press secretary from the White House, I don't know how to say her name. I really don't know, because I don't pay attention to Psaki or Saki or whatever her name is, right? So she had told everyone that, they tweeted out that the price of barbecues this year was down 16 cents. Why even put that on there? Because then when she was approached by the media, that's just funny to me, then she was all kind of like, well, the real thing is that the 3 million jobs that our administration has produced for America. Here's the thing, it's really 2 million jobs, and it's not they created jobs. What they did was they started putting people back into the workforce because they had so many jobs were lost because of the pandemic. And now, since people are allowed to go back out without masks and everything, then that's where we're at, right? So you can't really say they created jobs. They just allowed people to go back in the workforce, which in essence got the jobs back that were already there prior to the pandemic. So yeah, whatever. They're trying to do anything they can to say that they've done this and they've done that. What they've really done is done a great job of pushing the vaccines. Let's talk about the vaccines real quick. So there's 47% of adult Americans that have at least one shot of the vaccine. Only 67% across the U.S. that have both shots. And a lot of places don't have any, and there's a lot of places, like, let's say, I think it's Missouri has like a third of the population of Missouri has only that have both shots, a third. So people just aren't interested, because the more and more you look into it and the more things that come out, the more dangerous it seems to be. Okay, now I myself not vaccinated. My wife is. My wife did it for work, and there's times that she says, like, man, my arm's still hurting from when she had it done months ago. And there's just little things, and these are just minor things, minor to some, but who knows what the long effects are. Really, honestly, let's be honest. Let's see what are the long effects. We don't know yet, because we don't know enough about it. I just know that they're talking about those uptick. Well, if you have all these people getting together for July 4th, and summer started, so people start doing vacations and things, of course you're going to have an uptick because you have more people spreading COVID around. But locally, where I'm at, are there some people that get COVID? Yes. But are there people that have the vaccine that get COVID? Yes. I just don't see the complete benefit other than just peace of mind for the vaccine. That being said, let's talk about the 4th of July. So I did a video on the 4th of July and how this is about, it's more than just standing for a flag. It's more than just standing for the national anthem. You have people that died. Just people that picked up weapons as people, as just regular Americans that decided to take a stand. Just your everyday farmers and doctors, whatever, just anybody picking up weapons, whatever weapons they could find. Not even guns all the time, but guns to get their freedom away from Britain, right? To become independent. And in doing so, we take for granted sometimes what it's taken to keep that freedom. It's not like every generation is not just, you're not born into freedom. You're just like, we'll just stay free. No, we fight for it. That's why we have people that are in the military right now, and people that stand their ground and fight for that. So for people to turn their back on a flag that represents everything that we should be standing for, that is, in my mind, one of the worst things you can do. It's a slap in my face. It's a slap in any person's face that took an oath to fight for the United States, for this country. It's like a slap in the face. And think about this. So you're talking about 1% I mean, you're talking about 90% of the people in the military, you know, they don't even get deployed. And you have all these people going over and fighting and stuff. Then we hear in our own country, we have our first responders get more action than a lot of our military as far as like being shot at and injured and things like that. Yet we are looking to defund them and things like that. So I think it's more than just veterans. It's our first responders. It's our veterans. It's everybody that does anything they can to preserve our freedom. And when you have teams and people, you know, Gwen Berry's like, well, you know, when she was talking about all the trackster that decided not to, she was angry because they're playing the national anthem while she is standing up on the podium. Screw her. That's my opinion. Screw her. And when you have two off of the whole women's U.S. soccer team stand for the national anthem, the rest kneel or turn their back to it, screw them as well. I think athletes have gotten too big for their britches. That's the best way I can put it. They've gotten too big. They just think they're beyond, you know, they can just do whatever they want to do. We're not asking them to step up and use that as a platform for their social justice warrior crap or to protest the U.S., which has not done anything to them. It'd be different if this was like Nazi Germany and they were out killing Jews and we were protesting that. That is not what's going on here. They're not even close. Not even close, but people are going to burn the flag. They'll turn their back on the flag. They will kneel. You know what? If you don't want to be here, take off. Because it pisses me off. I don't care. People can say well, Black Lives Matter is like, yes, we know Black Lives Matter. All lives matter. Black lives matter, Mexican lives matter, but you don't hear people saying Asian lives matter. People are discriminated. It's how life works. People are going to discriminate against other people because people are flawed. They have errors. They are not perfect human beings. Is it wrong? Yes, it is. And there's people that don't. 90% don't do these things, but the 10% that do, we're taking a stand saying Black Lives Matter and protest, and people are getting killed. And when you start doing that, I want you to think about this. We protest and talk about defunding. I don't, but people protest and talk about defunding the police because of police brutality. But over the weekend in Chicago, most of being which black on black crime were drive-by shootings, most of them. There were 93. I think it went up to 100 now, but there were 93 at the last time when I looked at it. I heard a while ago they said 100, but 93 people were shot, 18 of which were fatally shot. So 18 deaths in Chicago, just Chicago alone. So that's just over the 4th of July weekend, starting from Friday afternoon on the 2nd until yesterday evening. So basically 3.5 days, you have 93 people shot and killed, most of which were drive-bys, because it gave a listing of everything that happened. And it was a long list, let me tell you. But most of which were drive-bys, black on black crime. And we're sitting here talking about defunding the police, which is a minuscule amount of... it just blows my mind that people are so caught up on things. Why don't you work on culture instead? Why don't you work on, let's have more work on having more nuclear families, mothers and fathers in the home. Why don't you work on education, getting people out of the hood so that you don't have this problem and there's less, because if you take away black on black crime, you have very few black individuals killed every day. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. And I'm not wrong here. You can look, go do your research. You can, however you want to put it. There's white people killed. There's black people killed. There's Hispanics killed. There's more white people killed because there's more white people out there. But let's just be honest. When a police officer pulls someone over, if you're not black, if you're Mexican, Asian, white, however you want to put it, there's two choices. They either mark you as black or white. So Hispanics get marked as white. So some of this stuff is going to be messed up when it comes to the amount of people or who's being shot, who's not being shot. Let's just call it what it is. People looking for a reason to protest. So that's kind of what's happening this weekend. You got people that did 4th of July and saved 16 cents. Congratulations. Good. Thank you, Biden administration. I can now go buy half piece of gum. And thank you so much for raising gas prices over the highest it's been ever in 7 years. Look it up, do your research. Highest in 7 years. The gas prices are the highest in 7 years across the nation. And so as we're talking and we're going through here, let's remember that the 4th of July was to celebrate our independence as a nation. Not as black people, not as white people, but as Americans. Because we got our freedom. Did you know that that there were like 3,000, is that right? Yeah, I believe it's 3,000 free black men and women that owned over 12,000 slaves. So how do you do reparations for that? Question for you. Just an honest question. How do you give reparations from someone? How do you know if you were a slave or if you were a free black person that owned slaves and you're kin to those, or maybe you're kin to both because maybe they procreated? I don't know. I'm just saying these are things that I think about because it makes no sense to me that we're living so far in the past. We have to have our history. We can't get rid of history because you don't want to repeat history. Look at Germany and the Holocaust. I watched a thing on it. Terrible. Terrible. People being killed just because they are a person, not because of their nature, not because of their personality, their character. No, only because they were classified as a Jew and they did not like Jews. You weren't blonde hair, blue-eyed. So let's figure that one out. Do we want to get back to that? Absolutely not. So you look at history, you study history, you know the things that were terrible, and you read about those and you find out about those, because if we can read about them and learn about them, we won't do them again, hopefully. So quit trying to cancel everything. Let's embrace our history so that we can move forward in a more positive way. Quit trying to protest every dang thing before you know everything that's going on. When you have 93 people killed, most of which were black in drive-by shootings in Chicago in one weekend, and you're worried about people making people a hero like George Floyd, that's a real problem. Now, I could rant about this all day. I'm just telling you, I could go on and on for hours about this crap because it's just frustrating to me. So the moral of the story is, get over it. We're all Americans. I don't care what color you are. We're all Americans. If you're a butthole, you're a butthole. So don't be one. Let's make sure we celebrate all the 4th of Julys and enjoy our 16 cents saved. And just realize that when that flag is present and the national anthem is playing, it's more than just about one race of people that are not being oppressed against. Stand tall, because we are Americans, and that's what we're here for. Y'all have a great day. Ramblin' Man out.